4x8.
Well, it's Tuesday night. We got 20 plus in the room here.
And I see that Copper Kettle is ordering pizza for everybody, it looks like. So, you let us know when they knock on your door there, and we'll just take a quick break so you can go get that pizza and serve everybody there. Oh, gone. How's everybody doing tonight? Hoping everybody in here is okay after last night's horrific weather that came through Tennessee and part of Kentucky. And of course, our thoughts are out to those families that lost folks in those storms. Crazy weather this year. Crazy weather. So, let's see. Well, Copper Kettle, the pizza slices are increasing. I thought if you were eating, they would be decreasing. So, oh, somebody's lagging a little bit. Well, that happens. That happens. So what's everybody doing here on a Tuesday night? I guess it's a pizza night. I guess it is. Well, it's America's food, right? Yes? Mine, yeah. Okay. So, Move North Homestead, you say it was nuts last night. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I don't know where you're at. But I'm guessing you had some nasty weather your way. We just had obviously not near as severe, but we just had a storm come through here an hour ago. And brought some thunder that shook the house, but seems to have dissipated at this point. So, anyway, wanted to talk a little bit tonight. Oh. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about cameras. We get asked this frequently. What's the best camera to get? What's what kind of camera should I go buy? And I can't afford very much, and I want to do this and that, and it's very, very, very difficult question to answer. One of the reasons it's so difficult to answer is most everybody out here has a few to several $100 cell phone that has a camera in it that's of a quality that is probably better than what you would want to have purchased even 4 or 5 years ago. So, cell phone cameras are darn good cameras anymore, without question. Can you do as many things with it? No, you cannot. But the good thing about a cell phone camera is you have it with you. You just have to remember to hold it horizontally so that if you are videotaping, you want it horizontal. You want that 16:9 resolution for your viewing area. On a what?
A 5S.
Yeah, mine's a 6.
Yeah.
Mine's a 6, and I've got a 4, but that requires a different charging mechanism. So, cell phones are pretty darn good. Let's talk about some other cameras you can get, though. You can get an action camera. You can get action cameras for as little as $35, $40 that mimic. Keep in mind, I'm using this term very strongly now. They mimic a GoPro. They're the same size. They're roughly the same kind of design, but they are not a GoPro. Can you get an acceptable quality image out of them? Probably, but there's a lot of features they don't have. They're not going to have the image stabilization. The color may be quite a bit off. I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, you can get an acceptable video image for not a lot of money. It all depends on how good you want to go with it. A lot of people talk DSLRs, which is either a full body or a mirrorless full-size camera that was made very, very popular with 35 millimeter film, and then simply transformed into an acceptable digital format. Well, hello, Stringfield Ridge. So, Stringfield Ridge, how tough was the weather out at your place? I know you were having to take cover, I think, last night, last I heard. Is everything all right at your place? One of the biggest problems, and I don't know that it's a problem, but it could be a problem, is with a DSLR camera. Number one is cost. You might as well, for the most part, and I'm talking very generalized items here, you might as well start at $500 and go up. It's very, very easy to get $5 or $6 or $7 or up to $10,000 in a piece of camera gear. And I don't think there's anybody in this chat right now that needs anything like that. You just don't. You don't need it. If you were professionally doing video production, that's another story. Well, then you maybe need something better. But none of us YouTube. Great. So, one of the big problems with the DSLR, the full format cameras, is after somewhere between 20 and 35 minutes, they shut off. A lot of you maybe didn't realize that, but I don't know of any of the full format cameras that don't do that. Now, there could be some. I mean, you can't keep up with everything. There's too many different manufacturers. And of course, the big ones are Canon, there's Sony, and it just totally, I just totally lost it here. Canon, Sony, Panasonic would be another one. There's, and they'll all do very, very well. Some of them have more advanced features than others. Some of them are DS. Okay, a DSL camera is a single lens reflex camera. What that means, let me do this. Let me grab a picture. And I'm sure that you'll all recognize what I'm talking about. These are DSL cameras. Nikon, Canon. It doesn't matter. There can be off-brand names. Yes. Well, yes, it is. No, I didn't notice you found it. Okay. we have a we have a Nikon. Some dashboard cameras absolutely can be used. They absolutely can. And again, you kind of want to be a little bit cautious as to what you want to do with a dashboard camera. Those are obviously cameras that are designed to be run off of 12 volts because they're typically run in your car. So if you wanted to use it some other fashion, you would have to make adjustments for that. You can also use, and let me switch me back here. Well, no. Here, we'll go back. You can also use a webcam as a camera. You have a laptop computer or a notebook, and you can plug a camera into it. If you have a Windows program on it, you have the capability to utilize a camera to take videos right from your computer. So you mentioned about a dead cat. Okay. One of the things that is lacking in a lot of cameras is audio. Audio is obviously a big thing, depending upon where you're going to take how you're going to do your shot. If are they going to be close enough to hear you? Is there a lot of background noise? Is the actual microphone in the device worth listening to? Well, maybe not. But one of the things that they have developed, and this is primarily used for microphones in an outside environment where it's windy. And that's something that's called a dead cat. And I'm not even going to I'm just going to throw it. Well, wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know? Here's a dead cat rug. Here's dead cat flying. All right. Dead cat for Mike. That's one of these real fuzzy things that goes over your microphone. We do use a GoPro. Yes and no. Things I do like about it. It's very small. It's easy to hold. I've got the Hero 7. It has excellent image stabilization. Has very good picture quality. The focal length on it is relatively small, so it's no good to do something far away. Well, I certainly can't argue with that. Yeah. In any type of photography or imaging, the lens is a huge part of it. But it's not all of it. I mean, you also have to have the proper chip behind that lens to take the light waves and convert them into the digital image. So it is a combination. But lenses are very expensive. You can have tremendous amount of money tied up in lenses if that's where you want to go with it. I just did a general search here. Best camera for YouTube.
Yep.
And everybody, this is an everybody type type question, because everybody's got their own opinion. So we won't go too deep onto that explanation here. But this is put out by Digital Camera World, the best YouTube cameras. And of course, they've listed them here, and they're saying the Canon PowerShot G7X Mark III. Now, that's a point and shoot camera. It's not really a DSL. It's what they call a point and shoot. But it does have the newest ones have a plug-in for an external mic. You cannot change the lenses on them. It's a pretty good quality camera. And it's going to set you back $500-$600, somewhere between $500 and $600, maybe close to $700. Sony, the DJI Osmo Pocket, which is very, very similar to a GoPro. All right. No, I'm sorry. The DJI Osmo Action is similar to the GoPro. Let me just go into this page. All right, this is the G7X. This camera is very widely used by a lot of YouTubers that do a vlogging style. It has a screen on the back that will flip down around so that you can see it from the front of the camera. You can see if you have yourself in frame. The focal length on it is small enough that you can hold it out arm's length, get yourself in the shot, and talk to the camera. So the Canon PowerShot G7 Mark III is the one that you can put an external mic on it. And if you would decide to get something like a G7, I'm just going to put it this way. If you, for any camera you get, you will enhance that camera. I think this is pretty much a blanket statement. You can enhance that camera audio by plugging in a good quality external mic. So in this particular website's poll, or however they decided to do this, they're saying the number one is the Canon PowerShot G7. In our field, here's some people that either did use or are still using or have just started using, and that would be people like Roots and Refuge is using this camera. Stiver's Homestead is using this camera. And there's probably a few more, but those are a couple that I know right off the top of my head. Here's a Sony RX100 Mark VII. This is another point-and-shoot camera. You cannot, does not have an interchangeable lens. But it has the tilting screen in the back. It's another vlogging camera. But look at the price on this thing. This is $1,300. So that's a lot of money on a camera. All right, here's some action cams. This is one DJI made very popular. They called it their Osmo Pocket. This is a very, very small camera. The technology came out of drones. It's mounted on a gimbal, which means no matter how you hold the camera, it's going to remain at a level position and be easy to see. And it's what $350 roughly. No drawback: does not have a mic port. Okay, GoPro Hero 7. I have one of these. I like it a lot. It does a does a great job. I think it actually has 3 microphones in it. And they're all terrible. Matter of fact, it even says here that it has a mediocre microphone. So in order to make this one sound better, they get you some way coming and going. You actually have to buy a microphone adapter dongle that plugs into this camera that you can then plug a microphone into. And it's now the older ones, it's pretty inexpensive, but for this one, just for that dongle piece, is $50. I haven't spent the money yet. When I utilize this camera, I utilize it for more B-roll shots, and I'm dependent upon the audio. No. As far as I know, you're not gonna go buy a camera and get an editing program. And let's back up for just a moment. The first 2 cameras that we showed you there, the Canon and the which was it here? The Sony. Those are probably more widely known, and if we've got somebody in here that is a photographer, they're probably more widely known as a photographer's camera, one that they just slip in their pocket. It's not like a full-blown DSLR, but they take good quality pictures. No, there's no mic port on the. Does she have this one, or does she have Osmo Action? We haven't gotten down to that one yet, and I'm not sure about that. But I can tell you that somebody that has that is Single Dad Homestead. He has that one. And speaking of that camera, here it is right here. So let's see what they say about it. It's another DJI camera, Osmo Action. This is kind of a copy of the Hero 7. They look very much alike. Here's what the DJI has going for it is on the front side. It has a screen you can see. So you can hold it at arm's length and make sure that you're in the frame, so to speak. It's a good little camera. It has great image stabilization. It does have a waterproof design. It also says here that the audio quality is mediocre. Doesn't say anything about a mic plug-in, and I guess I would have to, since it doesn't say it right here that I can read, I would have to go and research it further to say that you could or could not absolutely stick an external mic on it. Now, even these cameras that you can't plug an external mic in, excuse me, there are other ways to add audio to it. You can get a good quality audio recorder that you can record your audio with alongside the video and simply combine them in a editing program. All right, here's a mirrorless camera. The difference at this point, you're into interchangeable lenses. This is a smaller form factor than a full DSLR. In a DSLR, there is a mirror that's behind the lens that allows you to look into the viewfinder and look through the lens exactly as the camera sees it. And when the picture is taken, the mirror jumps out of the way. It actually flips up out of the way, and the picture is taken. And so that's why they call it a through the lens viewfinder. A mirrorless camera does not have that. You can see what it's taking on the back of the camera in its digital image viewfinder. And depending upon manufacturer and model, these can become very, very expensive as well. This one is an M6 Mark II. It's $850. And there's no in-body stabilization on this one either. But the quality of the picture is much, much better than anything we've looked at so far. Okay, here's a Sony mirrorless. And again, it's just maybe stepped up a little bit. We're up to $1,200 camera. Here's a Lumix. It's like Panasonic. Excuse me. And then, of course, the other one that they brought into this is smartphones, whether it be an Android or an Apple or whatever the back-end manufacturer would be. These are today's smartphones have got fantastic cameras on them. So you can take excellent videos with any of this. So the question is, what's best? Whatever camera you have. Whatever you have in your pocket, that's best for you at that given time. Mama Z, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat there. You can't get any video if you don't have a camera. So any camera is better than no camera. Very few of us, even if you have money to burn, and I don't personally know anybody that does, but I know there's people out there that do. For what reason would they go out and spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a camera? I mean, it's a lot of money. But let's back up here just a moment again. The biggest drawback to the cameras, any of the cameras, including the cell phones, is sound. So if you wanted to, if you have a camera that you can put an external mic, and there's all kinds based upon different style cameras that are available. There's shotgun mics and some that can be mounted on the camera itself, some that are mounted on the side. Rode is a very good name. There are some very small mics. You can get wireless mics, either a lavalier mic or lapel, as some people call it. Well, they should be right here underneath your watch thing, but that's okay. We don't need it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this, if I can get it in the light, this is a lapel mic. It's a small condenser microphone. It has a little pinch clip on it that allows you to clip it onto your shirt so that it's somewhat hidden, blends in with you. And you can, again, put a lot of money into even the microphones. You can have hundreds of dollars or you can have $25. In most cases, the $25 add-on mic is going to improve your overall quality because you generally have the ability to position it in such a way that you're maximizing the sound you want to capture. This one that I pulled up here, this is the Rode Video Micro Compact on-camera microphone. And it's got a little shock mount on it. But this is a nice, very, very small microphone that you can put on cameras like the GoPro, or smaller cameras like that. It's a directional mic. It does a nice job. And of course, there's bigger ones, longer ones. We can go back to the dead cats. Here's a microphone with the dead cat on. This is that same microphone we just had up, but it has the dead cat on top of it. And it's amazing how well that fuzzy material works, but it does a fantastic job of deadening the sound. All right, well, let's go a little bit further into here. Like I said, everybody has an opinion. So CNET has a thing here, best vlogging cameras and accessories for YouTube. And let's just very quickly see what they have to say. A lot of these are going to be the same. So they've listed the DJI Osmo. Here's a webcam, the Logitech C922, the GoPro Hero 8, Sony CyberShot RX100, okay, yes, it can be used on not only iPhones but various types of phones. Let me put it that way. There are companies out there that I'm not sure I necessarily agree with this, but here's one that says the best live streaming camera, the Livestream Mevo Plus. It's a $400 camera at Amazon. I just want to share this with you because I think this is kind of a little crazy. This is what it looks like. It's no more than a webcam in a fancy holder that they're selling for $300. It's just nuts. You can very quickly get sucked into thinking that you have to have a lot of high dollar equipment, and you really don't. Content is king, and obtaining that content is utilizing whatever you have in your pocket at a given time. If you don't have any type of means to capture an image, you have no video at all. So there's nothing you can do. One of the things that kind of triggered this entire discussion here tonight about the cameras is I have seen recently some discussions on video editing. As most of you know, we have talked video editors on this program for over 2 years. And if you are utilizing more than one camera to capture footage that you want, no two cameras are going to see the exact same color in the same way. This is where you can get into what they term color grading, where you can adjust this image, this video, color quality, so that you cannot tell it was taken by different cameras. depending upon the quality of the camera, you're going to get some really pretty crazy colors as compared to more expensive cameras. It's pretty wild. So, is this something everybody needs? No. Most people in here will only utilize one camera at a time. They won't take multiple cameras to do you film a single shot. Okay. Yeah, we'll get to tripod here in a moment. But in the editing programs, this is something else. Let me preface this by saying everybody likes free, including me. But if you're utilizing something free, somebody has put a lot of time into it, either as an individual or as a group of people, or as a company, as a team. They've just donated the skill set to a program and made it available or free to everybody to use. And where I'm going with this is don't be afraid to at least spend some money on an editing program. If you're gonna have a $500 to $1,200 cell phone taking your videos, don't be afraid to spend $50 or $60 or even $100 on an editing program to do a good job of not only stitching various bits of the video together, but adding sound in such a way that is very pleasing to all, and just up your game, if you would, another step. There are some outstanding editing programs out there that are free. They're not necessarily fully featured editing programs. And let's talk about one, because it's always thrown at me, and that is DaVinci. DaVinci Resolve. Okay, DaVinci Resolve is an absolutely outstanding editing program. And version 16 is their most recent release. And this program is absolutely second to none. But it's not the full show. The program has a learning curve on it that is quite steep. You don't get all the tricks and what have you. You don't get your hand held with a free program. Sure, there are people out there that make YouTube videos that show you how to do this, and show you how to do that, and you can struggle by and get through it. You can do that. But there's another thing. Once you start talking video programs that have the capability of this software, excuse me, where it's totally manipulating these files and have the ability to manipulate these files in very high resolutions, if you have cameras that can take very high resolutions. And let's just throw this out real quick. There is no reason, there is no use for any YouTube video to be done in 4K. It's just not needed. You're not going to see 4K on your phone. And unless you have some sort of highly documentary type thing that is going to be watched on a big screen, and they have a very high-speed internet connection where they can actually either download the stream at a fast enough rate or copy the stream in a high enough resolution that they can just play it locally because they can't get it fast enough across the internet. It's just a whole host of other problems. Now, I'm not talking about recording in 60 frames per second versus 30 or 24. I'm talking about the overall resolution where you're jumping up into the 4K or 8K format, the number of pixels and space and size required to do something like that. But the DaVinci Resolve is a program that can do that. Now, here's what is really interesting, and I want to share this with you, give you some food for thought. System requirements. Okay. 16 is the latest version. The people that put out the software do not even have a configuration guide for their latest version that they put out. So you could go back and look at the 15 and just think, well, it's a newer version. It needs to be at least as good or better. But here's another way to look at it. This is a group that Fusion Systems does high quality, big production stuff. So they have put together, if somebody's really interested in utilizing a program like DaVinci Resolve, and they want to do this for their videos, here's the kind of hardware that they're recommended that you should have in order to get a decent result. Now, I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs of this. You can do that same search, come up with this, and spend all kinds of time in here. But this company will build a system for you. So, we were right here. Matter of fact, we were doing this Tuesday night thing a couple years ago. Yep. All right, configure a system. So, here they're talking about the free edition for DaVinci Resolve. Recommended system for the free one. Optimized. This is optimized with an AMD Ryzen 3rd generation CPU. We configured that. Here's the cost of the computer just to do the editing. $3,300. That's for the free version of the software. You want to step up to the standard? Well, now you're up to $5,400 for the computer just to edit the software. And if you want the high performance, well, you just cross the line into the $7,000 range for a computer. And I'm sure you can sit there and say, well, that's nuts. Well, maybe it is nuts. But let's look at DaVinci Resolve. Let me see if I can get there on this one. Okay, no, that's not what I want. That's their 15 configuration guide. So let me do this. Okay. DaVinci Resolve is so powerful of a software, they have created a special tool set for people to use to edit the videos. This is what they do in the big movie studios. You can spend hours reading about this in here if you like to do that, but this program is absolutely... you're going to have people talk about Adobe's program, Premiere. Premiere doesn't hold a candle to this program. Premiere's a great program. It's also on a subscription basis, somewhere between $20 and $50 a month. Have fun with that. This one, you can buy the whole program for $300. But if you really want to get into it and start utilizing the tools that they've designed for it, if you notice this space age type console they have here that allows you to really get in and do the editing. If you've never seen any of these, this ought to blow you away once we get down to it here. Hardware control panels. I have 3 different models. I have the mini panel, the micro panel, and the advanced panel. I'm not going to show it here. And I would have to search for it. But you can very easily get $30,000 just in the control panel here. That's on top of your $7,000 computer to edit videos. So that's how far you can take this if you really want to. You don't need that for YouTube. You can certainly get started with a program like Filmora. Filmora 9 is a great beginning program. If you're going to use multiple cameras, not so good. But if you're just got a single camera and you're editing a program and you're wanting to do a few little special things and you want to add some audio and have things fade out and fade in, and hey, for a lifetime purchase in the neighborhood of $60, it's fantastic. Now, I say that we are not affiliated with Filmora. I'm not affiliated with any software program. So whatever I'm telling you here is, this does not put any money in our coffers at all. I wish it did. I know we've sold a lot of copies of Adobe, not Adobe, but of Filmora. But Filmora is one that I use. It's one of my go-tos. But the criteria I have on that is single camera shots. If I have 2 different cameras, be it of any type, 2 different cameras that I'm going to show at the same time, I do not use Filmora. At that point, I move on to a program by Cybernetics called Power Director. Power Director is a great program. They offer a suite of additional programs that come with it. Ones that can work with color, give you some good photo editing capabilities. A sound program. Having said that, you don't need these other ones. I've shown people on here to use GIMP, to use Paint.net, to use Audacity for sound. Those are all free, and they're great programs, all of them, and they'll rival any paid program out there. Unfortunately, and they don't require a tremendous amount of back end use on them. Now, the sound in Audacity, depending upon how crazy you want to go, that may require some more hardware. But I guess the point I want to make is, if you are editing your videos on your phone, it's time to step up the game. And if you go, well, I don't have a computer, well, it's time to get a computer. And I don't mean to get a $250 computer. It's gonna cost you, I'm gonna say, a good entry level purchase price is going to be somewhere between $500 and $600 entry level to get started. The laptop that I use, that how long have we had them now? 3 years. Yeah, 3 years ago was what, $1,600? Yeah, they were $1,600 3 years ago. And it still works. It still works fine. When it comes time to replace it, I'm looking at a $2,000 investment. But it will work for me. It's not the kind of thing where I click on something and turn around and go drink a cup of coffee and eat 4 candy bars and wait for it to come back and say, well, or just plain crash and blue screen. Well, yeah, Sherry lost the hard drive in her computer. That was not pleasant. Yeah, she was not happy about that. And well, we didn't have it backed up the way we should have. We're like the shoemaker that, you know, our shoes are worse than everybody else's. So we tell you all these things that need to be. Well, let me do this. We've talked about a lot of stuff here. We've talked about cameras. We've talked about editing programs. We've talked about some computer hardware. Is there any questions out there that you guys have that you want to put in the chat that we can address? Tripods. Okay. Yes. Well, yes, it most certainly is. Tripods. Okay. Tripods can be very cheap to very expensive. If you'd like an opinion, my opinion anyway, you don't need to spend more than, I'm going to say, at the absolute top, $50 or $60 on a tripod. Does that give you the absolute best, smoothest, highest quality tripod? No. But what does the tripod do? And how are you going to use it? It's there to hold your camera up off the ground in a stable environment. So the tripod has to be sturdy enough to hold whatever camera it is that you're going to mount on top of it. If your camera is a cell phone, if it is a GoPro, those are real lightweight. You don't have to have a real strong tripod. If you have a big camcorder that you're going to mount on top of that, you've got a 5-pound camera, then yeah, you need a little bit more. You need a substantial strut for underneath that. But the tripods and camera gear and equipment, that's another whole thing. You can...
Sure, Red. You can.
Absolutely, you can. Matter of fact, let me think here. Let me think here just a second. No, I just... All right. This is something that I noticed in a, this is a guy that's very, very good guitar player, does a lot of music stuff. But if you notice what he's got here right now, he's got a image of himself at the microphone where you see the neck of the guitar and the whole shot. Let me go a little further. I'm sure that we will see a different shot here. There. This is the camera. He has built a short pole that comes off the end of his guitar that the camera is mounted to. So, Red, you could certainly build a little pole thing like this that sticks out the end of your wheelchair, and you absolutely could have a wheeled perspective for vlogging your channel. So, jumping back to the tripods. I'm going to say you're going to want to get something that's at least 58 to 60 inches tall. I don't know that you necessarily have to go any taller than that. You want it to be fairly lightweight. You want it easy to collapse and set up. You do want it to be strong enough to hold your camera and to utilize a little bit of abuse. When I say a little bit, obviously, this is not set it up and have 4 big dogs run through the room and knock everything over. But in order to do that, you can literally go down to your Walmart store and I think for about $32 get a 52-inch tripod that is pretty darn suitable for doing that. I use those for doing the live streams when we go to the meetups, where I have them sitting up on tables to get them up even higher. It's not an expensive tripod. It's not silky smooth as far as panning around. But how often do you do that? How often do you do that? If that's what you need to do, then yeah, you need to invest in something a little bit more than that. But if you're just using it as a holder, and of course, as you all know, we do the Monday Night Lives. We've had people on our Monday Night Lives that they come on as a guest. They're using their cell phone because they don't have a camera. So they use their cell phone, which is fine. Do they have a holder for it? No, they don't have a holder for it. So they're propping it up on books or whatever they can grab, something out of the kitchen or whatever, and they're just propping it up and utilizing that to hold the camera steady, hold the phone steady. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight. You don't need to have big slide rail systems. You don't need to have the over-the-shoulder gear. These are all over-the-shoulder rigs to hold cameras. If you're taking video that you need to have a rig like that, then that's what you need to have. The typical YouTuber does not need this. They don't need to go get a $30,000 camera and a $5,000 rig that they mount on their shoulders to walk around and videotape their animals in the field, cultivating their garden, building a greenhouse. You just don't need that. If you're doing a big documentary type thing, if you're creating a full-blown documentary similar to what Justin Rhodes did, then yeah, you might have some reason for that. When he went on the Great American, what do you call it, Great American Bus Tour? Yeah, he went out and got a, I think it was about a $3,000 camera setup to do that. Well, but for that documentary thing, I mean, he needed some higher quality. They put a lot of time into it, and of course, it paid him back. But that's not where most of us are at with this. So, okay, looking here again. So you have my attention here on the chat right now. Any other questions that we have? Great. I like to use a camcorder in a lot of cases where I can just set it up and leave it go. If you're utilizing a smaller form, typical camera appearing camera, they'll frequently shut off in 30 minutes. Whereas the camcorder does not. You can, if I start the camcorder, it can go for 2 hours on its battery. So then I can just swap the batteries out and go another 2 hours and keep going with it. And that camcorder, brand new, was $200. Now, it's not so good in low light, but it's absolutely wonderful for outside. Has the ability to plug an external mic into it so I can better the sound. We utilize it on Sherry's cooking videos inside. I'm going to say one of the small Rode mics. So mic for mic for phone here. Depending upon your particular phone, and I know you said Android. There's just tons of choices out here. I'm going to say you're going to want to have a directional mic. You're going to want to have, obviously, something lightweight. In a lot of cases, the plug on the microphone is done in such a way that you can aim the mic. I'm not saying this is one to get. I'm not saying this is the best one, but in this particular case, you can plug it into the phone and aim it at a given direction. You can go with a wireless mic if you'd want to. Probably shouldn't have done that. Here we go. So here's a wireless mic. So you can start there. You can another place to simply go look very quickly is Amazon. And just ask it, Mike, or let's say Android phone. All right, so these top ones here, these are lavalier type mics. Here's one you can plug into. Look at that. That's the one that we just saw on the Google page. This this is a shotgun mic. It's directional. And I would guess that's probably what you want, Jessica. You're going to want some sort of directional mic. Well, they can work very well. It's like any. Let me step back on the wireless thing here. As soon as you are going wireless, you have introduced a couple different potential problems. One is interference from outside sources. Obviously, if everything is going through the air, electrical interference, somebody running a CB radio, high voltage, there's potential interference issues that have been introduced. What about somebody with a kid's walkie-talkie or something like that? All different things to look at. You can spend a lot of money and never have an issue, because at that point when you start getting into the $400, $500, $600 range, you can pretty well rest assured that those issues have all been handled and taken care of, and you're not going to get stuck. It's all name brand stuff. Sennheiser, Shure, different reputable mic companies. If it's $29.95, well, it may work just fine 80 or 90% of the time. So if that's good enough for you for spending that $30 to $50, then absolutely, that's great. Here's some, and just to share here with you. This is like a complete little kit that one can get, where you're getting an external mic, you're getting an additional light, you're getting a little tripod, all this to plug into your phone for $50. So you're getting an LED light, a phone holder, called a filmmaker video kit for a phone. It's incredible. The Rode Video Mic Mi Compact, if this is suitable to utilize with your phone, Jessica, this is one I would strongly look at. And again, it's somewhat because of the name. I know the name Rode. Okay. Well, they have them for Androids as well. But this Rode Video Mic, if this is compatible with your phone, then this is one I would strongly look at. There's tons of great reviews on this. Matter of fact, it never hurts to go look at reviews. And one of the nice things about the Amazon is not only does it have the one you're looking at, but it gives you a lot of comparable mics to it. So it's got almost 1,300 ratings. It's given it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'm surprised it's not better. And just in glancing through some of the top critical ones, they're talking about static. So if I were going to go buy a wireless lavalier set, I would probably look at something like this. It's $130 for a set. But you can pretty well rest assured that it's going to last you a long time. Well, listen, it has been over an hour. If you've had good experiences with some of these products, and would like to share that or share that information, let us know. Send me an email. We'll talk about it in a future Tuesday night. Matter of fact, if somebody's got a lot of experience, who was it that was the photographer? You recall the name? Okay, the minds have dissipated here, but I know that somebody in here is a professional photographer. If you would like to be on the show and talk about it, I welcome that. I absolutely welcome that, and we can work that out so I can have you right here on the screen beside me. So, having said all that, I'm hoping that everybody, maybe learned something, had their eyes opened a little bit here this evening, and want to go a little bit further ahead in their endeavors here on the YouTube. So, anything from you, Sherry? You're just okay. Okay, sounds great. That she wasn't already dangerous, huh? All right. So,
anytime we can.
very special thank you to all of our moderators. Extra special thank you to all of our channel members. Those folks that are floating through the chat here in the pretty green with the smudge pictures behind their name. We greatly thank you for being part of Smudge's team and helping us out there. If you would like to join Smudge's team, just click on that join button down below and wear your green proudly. Anything else? I think that's it. Thursday. So we'll see you all Thursday, I hope. Time for pizza. We're hungry. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.